Welcome to our Key Stage 4 Options presentation. I'm Mrs Kane, Associate Deputy Head Teacher, and we also have Miss Cameron, the Academic Progress Lead for Year 9. Ordinarily, we would have held this as a presentation in the hall to discuss the various Key Stage 4 options. However, this year we are holding it virtually. We do believe it's really important to watch and listen to this presentation to find out some really important information about the subjects your son will be able to select. To start with, we will share some key dates for your diary. On Monday the 15th of March is the deadline for completing a Microsoft form to indicate if you would like a Key Stage 4 options consultation. This is not compulsory, but it does give you the opportunity to sit down with a member of senior staff or middle leader to discuss what options your son can take at GCSE and which options are best for him. You will receive a text message today that will provide you with a link to complete the form, and it does need to be completed by Monday the 15th of March. On Tuesday the 16th of March, which you will already have received a letter regarding, is our Year 9 Parents' Evening, which is an excellent opportunity to discuss the progress your son is making in each of his subjects. The following day, on Wednesday the 17th of March, our options selection will open online. At that point, you're able to go in and start to select the Key Stage 4 options your son would like to study. And finally, by Wednesday the 24th of March, we expect all of the options to be selected.
Did you know that many of today's jobs didn't even exist 10 years ago, and that our learners, by the time that they reach 38, will have had over 10 different jobs? 1 in 4 workers have been with their current employer for less than a year, and 1 in 2 have been at their current place of employment for less than 5 years. It is our job to prepare students for jobs that don't even exist yet, using technologies that haven't yet been invented, in order to solve problems that we don't even know are problems yet. The world beyond St. Joseph's. Your child will have to remain in education or training until they're 18. It is also known that students will generally only embark upon a career once they hit the age of 22 or 23 years, and will unfortunately have to work until they are at least 70 before they can think about retiring. The days of having a career at just one company are long gone. So what exactly are we doing to help you and your son prepare for a future for jobs that don't even exist yet, or technology that we don't even know should be around? So how we plan on doing that exactly is by having a variety of different pathways which are tailor-made to your son. They are broad and balanced, relevant, challenging, enjoyable, and personalized. And we feel that this will be the best for your son. So regardless of which GCSE or vocational subjects your son will choose, every single student will leave SJC with at least 6 GCSEs. And those are the 2 GCSEs from a combined science, unless your son does the triple science route, and then English language, English literature, maths, and RE. Those are the 6 GCSEs that your son will get, and then core PE will be done as well, although this is not a GCSE subject.
To help provide further information about the core subjects, as well as the variety of option subjects that we provide, we have developed an information booklet that contains information about the specification, content, and assessment structure of each one of our GCSEs. Please do take the time to read through this and investigate the subjects that we offer. Before we start to discuss the various subjects we offer, I just wanted to take a little time to go through the new style GCSEs. For many of you, you may well be familiar with the new style GCSEs, but for anyone who has had a son go through the education system over 4 to 5 years ago, they may not be familiar with this new style system. For one, our GCSEs are more rigorous than they were 5 years ago. The content that students need to learn is more vast. We now have a situation where exams are all sat at the end of year 11, and therefore we do not have modular courses. Students within the Key Stage 4 years do not have an opportunity to resit GCSE examinations, and coursework is not really an option for many subjects anymore, with the exception of art, DT and food. Along with the changes to examination structure and assessment, there has also been a change to the grades. Grades A star to G are no longer awarded for new stand GCSEs, but instead a grade 1 to 9. On your screen you can see the corresponding grades. So for example, you can see that the very top grade of a 9 correlates to the very top A star grade, and a 7 is benchmarked against an old A grade. In terms of the old benchmark of a C being a pass grade, that is now converted into a grade 4 and 5, whereby a 4 is the lower end of a C and was considered just a standard pass, whereas a 5 is a strong pass and is the higher end of a C grade. Just as the old grade C was important in maths and English as it was considered a pass, our now focus is on grades 4 to 5 in English and maths. The government have announced that every student must continue to study English and maths GCSE until the age of 18 if they have not yet secured those grades. So it's a real importance for students to focus to ensure they get those grades first time at the end of year 11. Most jobs and apprenticeships and sixth forms application forms will require those basics of a grade 4 to 5 in both maths and English. There's been much publicity in the news over recent years about the EBAC and about the government pushing to ensure that more students are completing the EBAC suite of qualifications. The EBAC in itself is not a qualification. It is a collection of subjects that a student can study. The EBAC is achieved when a student studies GCSE English, mathematics, 2 sciences, a language and a humanity of either history or geography. As mentioned earlier in the presentation, we do want students to have a broad and balanced curriculum to ensure they're ready for the world of work. Therefore, for any child that does select to study the EBAC suite of qualifications, they are also able to select one other option of their choice. We do recommend that students may look to study one of the arts or perhaps a technology subject to ensure that broad and balanced breadth of the curriculum. If you would like to ask any questions or have any queries about your son studying the EBAC route, please do feel free to email us on ks4options@sjc.ac.
So, what are the pathways that we feel are best suited for your son? So there's going to be one of 3 pathways that your son will be put on. The EBAC pathway, the core pathway, or the engage pathway. Now, based on the information that Mrs. Kane was chatting to you about earlier, and with the government saying that by 2025, they expect 90% of all students to be following the EBAC pathway, majority of our students will be following the EBAC pathway as well. How do we decide which pathway is best suited for your son? Well, there's a number of factors that we take into consideration, mainly his Key Stage 2 results. So those are the results that they would have got when they were in Year 6, their SATs results. If your son has recently joined our school or has joined us from a different country, we would be using their CATS results. So that was the little test that we had them do when they joined our school. And then we would look at other relevant factors as well, and whether we think that your child is actually suitable for that particular pathway based on what we know and their academic performance as well. So looking at these pathways in a little bit more detail, if your son has been chosen to go onto the EBAC pathway, what he'll be looking at doing is a language, so that will either be Spanish or Mandarin, but please note that they can only choose a subject that they would have studied at Key Stage 3. So if your son did Spanish in years 7, 8 and 9, the expectation is that they would then choose Spanish for Key Stage 4. Because they haven't done Mandarin at Key Stage 3, we would not recommend that they do Mandarin at Key Stage 4. Then they would have the humanities of choosing either a history or geography, and then one other option of their choice from the list of subjects mentioned previously. If your son is on the core pathway, they can choose one of the EBAC subjects between history, geography, and one of the languages, and then they have two other options that they can choose from as well. If your son is on the Engage pathway, they will be receiving additional support for English and Maths, and then they can choose two options of their choice. The reason why they would be provided with additional English and Maths support on the Engage pathway is, like Mrs. Kane mentioned earlier, with English and Maths being non-negotiables, we want to do everything we can to support your son to make sure that they pass their English and their Maths GCSEs first time round.
On the screen now you can see the vast range of option subjects we have on offer for our students. Both GCSE Drama and GCSE Triple Science are new subjects offered this academic year. Students that opt to study for Triple Science tend to be currently in Set 1 or Set 2 Science, and they will no longer study Combined Science worth 2 GCSEs, but instead study 3 separate sciences in Biology, Chemistry and Physics, thus gain 3 GCSEs across the sciences. For both Computer Science and Triple Science, options will be looked at alongside assessment outcomes for tests that students will take later this academic year. The options process will all be completed on SIMS Online. On Wednesday, the 17th of March, the parent will receive an email invite to join SIMS Options Online. It's really important that we've got a current email address for all parents to ensure you therefore have access to SIMS Online. If you believe that we may not have the correct email address, or if you've recently updated your email address, please ensure we've got the correct one by Monday, March the 15th. Once the invite has been sent, both parents and students will then receive a unique code which they can use to sign in to Options Online. It will then give you an option to sign in through different mediums. Once in Options Online, you will be able to see the allocated pathway for your son, whether it is EBAC, Core or Engage. It will also provide you with instructions about the various options you have to choose from. For example, as you can see on the screen, the first selection would be the language that your son would like to study, followed by the humanity, and finally they will be asked to select their third option from the list. The order in which they select their options is their order of preference, and students will all be asked to select a reserve option in case they do not get their first choice. It is the student that should be completing this process, and it is their way of selecting the subjects that they are committing to study for the next 2 years. However, we do ask that parents and carers discuss the options with their son and to ensure that they study the subjects most appropriate for them. There is therefore a tick box for ParentCarer Approval on the system, and there's also an opportunity for both the student and parent to leave any comments or questions or feedback you may have. There are certain subjects we do not recommend students study together, for example, Creative iMedia and Computer Science, or GCSE Business Studies and BTEC Enterprise. They are not recommended as the subjects are too similar and would therefore not offer a breadth of curriculum. Both GCSE Business Studies and Computer Science are considered academic subjects, which are tested 100% through examination at the end of Year 11. Creative iMedia and BTEC Enterprise, on the other hand, are vocational subjects, which are tested throughout Year 10 and 11 via coursework and internal assignments. As a school, we will endeavour to ensure we meet your son's first choice wherever possible. However, there may be occasions where this is not possible, and we would therefore offer your son his reserve choice. Taking time to consider the reserve choice is therefore important. If a course is oversubscribed, we will look at those that met the options deadline, who have got good attendance, good behaviour, and have a positive subject report in the subject when making a decision about which student should be offered the course.
Students need to keep an open mind when choosing their GCSE and vocational subjects, especially if they're not sure of what they would like to be when they are older. I understand that this is a very important decision for your son and for you as a family to be making. So you need to make sure that you are informed about the decisions that you are making, using the information booklet, taking on board the advice that we are giving you as APL, as form tutor, as subject teachers. There are so many people that your child and you can come to for help and advice. Please, 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 if you are not sure, ask us for help. That is why we are here, to support you and your son to make sure that they are on the correct pathway and that they are doing what is best for them and their future. So what do as a parent? You support your son. It is your son's choice for what GCSE or vocational subject he would like to do. But I strongly recommend that as a family, you talk about it. Make sure that you are working together so that he is going to be choosing subjects that he enjoys. And please make sure that you complete the online form by the deadline, which is the 24th of March. So, what should your son be taking into consideration when he is trying to decide which GCSE subject or vocational subject he should be choosing? Well, I recommend the following. Which does he actually enjoy? What is he passionate about? What is he talented in? What do his classroom teachers recommend? What has the school recommended? All of this should help him influence his choice. Things to avoid when you're trying to choose your GCSE or your vocational subject is your son should not choose a subject because their friend is choosing it, or they shouldn't choose a subject because they really like their geography teacher and that's why they've decided that they want to pick geography. Because there is no guarantee, A, that they're going to be put into the same class as their friend because we have different blocks of classes, and also B, there is no guarantee that they are going to have that particular teacher teaching them again for that subject, because as you are well aware, we have more than one teacher across every single subject. So please speak to your son about this and make sure that they are not using these factors to influence their decision when making their choices.
So what are the next steps? Just a reminder, if you would like that consultation to discuss the options available to your son and what is best for him, complete the Microsoft form no later than the 15th of March. Do attend Parents' Evening online on the 16th of March, and the following day on the 17th you'll be able to log in to Sims Online to view the pathway of your son. It is at this point we recommend that you read the course information booklet and also visit our Key Stage 4 website page to watch the subject videos on the different option subjects. The options online do need to be submitted by the 24th of March, and at any point if you've got any queries or any concerns, do email ks4options@sjc.ac.
And last but certainly not least, for those of you that haven't done so yet, please can I strongly recommend that you download the MyEd app. It is very important that when you download the app, that your cell phone number and your email address that you have is the same as the cell phone number and email address that we have on the system. Otherwise, it won't register your account. For any further advice or if you need any help on how to download it, please don't hesitate to contact me. And I would just like to thank you for listening to Mrs. Kane and myself. And if you have any questions, please just get in touch with the Key Stage 4 options at sjc.ac email address. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a lovely evening.